All right, what's going on, everyone? This is Dr. Jace fixing my collar. Okay, this is Dr. Jace, and welcome to week number 4. That's right, week number 4 of 7314, your reference sources and services class. And we just have a few updates, and then I'm going to show you a really simple database just to make sure you all are aware it exists. And we should be out of here. This should not take me longer than 20 minutes because right now it does appear that you all are, for the most part, caught up in the course. So I was just looking, just trying to see, what grades, I'm sorry, not what grades, but what posts have been submitted, who is behind on what, yada, yada, yada. And a small number of you are behind on posts. But when I say a small number, I really do mean a small number. There are 2 or 3 of you who do not have all of your posts up to date as of right now. You all should technically have your, let me look at something here. Actually, sorry. And so technically you all should have, so technically as of right now you are only required to have, and as of right now I mean September the 9th, Monday, you are only required to have discussion posts number 1 and 2 completed, and you should have your reference interaction report assignment also in. So that assignment, let me make sure I'm not messing up my vocab. The reference interaction report should be in. Now, here's my thing. So with the virtual reference practice and paper that is due October 6th, it does look like we do have access to Question Point after all. So I was told that we were not going to have the access, and that was due to this sell. Question Point was sold to SpringShare, and SpringShare also, SpringShare is the vendor that does LibApps, and that includes LibGuides and LibCalendar, which you all will be working with LibGuides later this semester. Now they also apparently have Question Point. I was told that meant that our access was going to be revoked. It appears that I may have been told that mistakenly. However, what I'm going to do this semester, what I'm going to do this week is I am going to create the Question Point logins for you all and see if you all can get started on the assignment. I'm going to create the logins. I'm going to re-enable the Question Point assignment, and I am going to pair you guys up with partners, and I'm going to try my best to pair you up with people who are in your city. So that way, if you wanted to meet with your teammate in person, you could do so. And again, this is just me trying to facilitate an environment where you all can communicate with one another and build a network amongst one another. So there should be some updates coming on Question Point and that virtual reference assignment soon. If you and I will re-enable the assignment so you can see it once that is done. So just be on the lookout for that. Once I create logins, I'm probably just going to email you all, and I mean not email you all, I'm probably just going to post an announcement in the class and just make sure that you all see that. So that's what you need to be concerned about right now. And until then, go ahead and keep plugging away at that semester-long project. If you have not started on that, I guarantee you want to start on it. Now, the quick thing that I'm going to, because I like to have just a little reference lesson in this class every week. So this week I am going to just make sure you all are aware of a common public library resource that we don't have access to through Mizzou that I know of, and we might, and I just don't know, but I know it's a common public library resource. So when you all, those of you who go into reference for public libraries, one thing that I'm going to let you know that you are going to experience is that there will be times when you will be asked to give people legal forms, which are often, in the past, the legal forms have been available in books. You could actually like photocopy, for instance, divorce forms from books that a lot of public libraries were keeping in ready reference, and also tenant landlord forms and whatever forms, contracts and legal forms and things like that. You could copy those, photocopy those out of books previously. And it was a way for people to save money. A lot of people just don't have the money to see a lawyer and do the traditional filing of paperwork. And then even if they do have the money, a lot of people just want to bypass the lawyer. And so now those things that used to traditionally be carried in reference books that were kept in ready reference at a lot of public libraries, there are now, for whatever state you might be in, there are now legal form databases that are offered, I think, through Gale, but I could be mistaken about that. And so, but we're going to go look now, and then we will know. And I am going to Mid-Continent Public Library to make this determination and to show you all these legal forms. So Mid-Continent Public Library, this is a public library system in the greater Kansas City area, and they really are my favorite public library, y'all. Okay, so research and learning. And I think we go under legal, filter. Missouri legal forms. Okay, so this is what I'm referring to. And I'm not from Missouri. I'm from the Carolinas. From North Carolina, lived in South Carolina for 7 years before moving here to Missouri. So you can get the same database for, I know that there are North Carolina and South Carolina iterations, and I'm assuming that there is an iteration for your state as well. So you probably just want to head on over to your public library if you're not already aware of whether or not they have a legal forms database, and head on over to the public library and find out. So, but we definitely have these for Missouri through Mid-Continent and through a lot of the other public library systems here in the state of Missouri. And I know a lot of you are not in Missouri, but don't worry, this can hold true in your state as well. So when I clicked this was Missouri legal forms, I clicked that. It's asking me for my card number. I'll give them that. And bada bing. And so with reference, I hate to say it, but unfortunately reference is something that you have to learn on the job. People knock reference instructors a lot for, hey, they didn't really tell me how to find stuff in a database. They didn't really tell me this. They didn't really tell me that. Well, unfortunately, and I hate to say it, but that's just kind of how reference works. Reference varies so much from institution to institution. And trust me, as somebody who's worked in reference at 5 institutions now, it varies so much from institution to institution that you just can't really teach it. But what I can do is tell you what some common reference requests are, and then I can go ahead and also tell you how to fill those reference inquiries with what is at your disposal at a lot of institutions, common resources. And the legal forms offered by Gale, and yes, I do see that, yes, it definitely is Gale that offers them. These are very commonly used in a lot of libraries, and they're just things that you need to be aware of. So let's make me small again, which is often the favorite part of the class for a lot of students. And what you can do is you have these main categories, but you can also do sample searches. But there are contracts in here for landlord-tenant. There are, again, divorce forms. There are contracts for rendering, for instance, photography services. So there's a whole lot going on here. And what you get are, you can actually download and fill out these forms or these pre-prepared contracts, and they are useful so that the things here, and now I also need to disclose that I'm not a lawyer, and I think most of you know this, but apparently most of these, or pretty much all of these forms, are legally binding and legally sound if signed. So we'll just go into landlord-tenant really quick, and let's say we wanted to do, let's see. I don't see a vacating property one, but you could search for that. But let's just look at one. Let's look at evictions. So we have some options here. First of all, you'll get a description of the form. And so you get this description here. And then if you want to make use of the form, you can just download it. I believe they're all in Microsoft Word format. And you can just fill in these blanks. So it's really cool. You have to enable editing first. But once you do that, you can just fill these in. Jason K. Austin, blah, blah, blah. Eviction questionnaire, yada, yada, yada. You can fill all this out. And for things that are more contractual, as you see, there's nowhere to actually sign with this one. But for things that are more contractual, you actually will see places to sign once you print it out, and then from there you can have a legally binding document. Let's go back here actually, and let's look at rental agreements. Maybe that's a better one to look at to just show off that yes. So basically what you have here is you've got all the legalese, and you can sign and date, and print after you fill out all the information. And if you need to make any alterations here, you can. But they have pinpointed the areas such as the actual rent payment that you would generally need to fill in the blanks, and you can fill in the blanks from there. So this is very useful, and this is a very useful resource. And then I would also say, in addition to it being a useful resource, it is also it is also very encompassing. So again, you can do a search. I think there is like a, let me see, photography. Because I've done this myself for a buddy of mine who did, who DJ'd a function for me. And rather than draft up a contract, I found the contract here, filled in the blanks as necessary. He signed, I signed, he DJ'd, and we had a legally binding agreement there. So model permission to photograph, agreement between photographer and purchaser of photographs. So again, you can do a free form search and find one of these. This is different from, like, of course, if you were setting up an agreement for rendering photography services, like for a wedding reception or something, but they've got something in there for that too. And this is something that you can take advantage of. And that is pretty much it. I just wanted to give that rundown. You do have your most popular searches, which include divorce, as well as wills and estates, real estate, bankruptcy, landlord, tenant. There are some sample letters, so like letters for automobile quotes and everything like that. But this is a very helpful resource. So go ahead and it would be good for you to find out if your public library has access to it. If not, you may want to ask why not. And if your public library does have access to it, then maybe just go ahead and make use of that access. Go ahead and play around with it, because the only way you're going to really learn databases is to play around with them. So having said that, go ahead and proceed, like I said, with your discussion posts and readings, as well as with your semester-long project. And I'm going to try to get the necessary information to you for the for question point once I figure out whether or not, once I create these logins, they work. So what I got to do now is go in and try to create all these logins, which is what I am going to do. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't want to prolong this video too much longer. Whatever it is I'm missing, I'll just get back to you. If you have any questions, email me, any place, anytime, anytime. That is my time. Peace out.